Herbs. Do 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 do. La da da dee da do. La da da do da dee. La da da dee. Da 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 do. Alright, back with the same lovely portrait as yesterday, and today, in amongst the wild colours, we'll add a bit more form in, some whites and things like that. The whites need to come in and reshape the face just a little bit around these parts and bring the head on slightly more of a lean. We'll see how we go. G'day John, how we doing? And hello Robert. Just bear with me. I thought I'd start the live stream before I was completely ready, just so we could get the chat room going before I crack into it. I can do some chatting, which is a perk. David, it is an absolutely lovely day. So we've got the time right now between now and when the tide reaches us. It's halfway out and it's on the way in. But we've also got one other unique challenge. Plenty of water. We're dressed for it. We've got our picture, plenty of paint brushes, but we're short on plates. So we're gonna have to be a little bit clever, a little bit different and unorthodox. And I don't mind doing that. And the reason I don't mind doing that, it was because that unorthodox, use what you've got around you, see how it goes mentality is how I ended up using plates in the first instance. So instead of a regular palette. So who knows? This next little invention we come up with is going to be a deal breaker or a deal maker. And cheers, John. These have been a fantastic pair of shorts for me. I got them when I was in an op shop for $4, and I got them with about another 2 or 3 pairs. So someone my size must have been throwing away a bunch. But the best thing about them is the other 2 pairs have been thrown away because they got paint all over them. These ones though are sustaining, and the reason they're sustaining is because there is paint on them all around the show, but you can't see it because of that crazy pattern. So that's $4 New Zealand as well. So if you're in America, think like $2.50, $2.70, and you'll be on it. Hey Victoria, good to have you in here. I love them. I love them. They got that sort of very intense pattern, floral sort of pattern, but that sort of muted color palette, slightly darker as well, so it doesn't really demand attention. It's been, how do you describe them? It's been quirky and funky, while not wearing colors that might be intensely in your face, which is kind of fun. Not that there's anything wrong with wearing colors that are intensely in your face. You should see some of my shirts. But I find typically when I'm painting these canvases, I try to wear quite muted shirts or even muted pants, because otherwise it's this bright crazy color on bright crazy color. So I try to actually have bright crazy color and quite neutral, whereas if I go out for dinner and there's no art around, I'll wear some crazy pattern. And that's my little, so I still have something. So there's always something crazy going on, is what I'm saying. I hope that wind's not too annoying. Now, here's our plan, team. You'll be wondering, why is Seb putting on a glove? Well, it's all gonna make sense. Or it'll be the worst plan that we've ever come up with in the history of ever. And I'm excited to find out which. It'll either be, it might be somewhere in the middle. It might be somewhere in the middle. Here's the plan. We have no plates. You found me on Reddit 2 years ago. Avon, that's pretty exciting. That was right back at the start of the streaming. Rainy and gloomy. And hello, Jesse, how are we doing? Yeah. Typically, John, I'll let that chop and change. I will, what am I saying? Chop and change. I like to have a few really bright shirts, and sometimes you'll know I'm in an outlandish mood when I've got a bright painting and a bright shirt. It's almost like I'm trying to be too much for whoever's trying to watch. And that is an entirely okay way to be. What's your mood today? I don't know. Too much for everyone. That's my mood today. You're totally all good, John. That's what this whole platform's for. That's why we connect live. If you're live, your jokes are allowed to be worse, because comments and jokes are allowed to be worse, because you didn't get time to premeditate. It was just off the cuff. I think that's fair. What's this piece all about, Vic? This is a lovely individual. His name's Chris. Can I call him Chris? I'm going to call him Chris. Christophe. And he's after a portrait of his face. And what's interesting about a portrait is we've got to take into account the things that make an individual an individual. And so in this case here, for Christophe, what we've focused in on is he's unpredictable. I like that. He's sassy. I like that. He's fierce. So when you look at these lines around the face, and they slightly jar every now and again, this catches a sort of intensity, a fierceness, but the colour palette gives you kind. And so it's this fine line when you're working with fierce to not get anger or rage and actually get kindness and softness, because you can have fierce kindness and fierce rage. But when you're doing art, the difference can be quite subtle. In this case, colour is separating those. And then also with the lines around the face, we're making sure we keep them smooth, not dry, smooth and wet. Smooth and wet feels kind, whereas jarring, sudden, dry strokes, they always feel more of an angry fierce. And I want to capture the fierceness this man has, but fierceness for kindness. Fierceness for, he says when he was younger he was very ambitious, but now he's more relaxed. So once you're fierce, always fierce. The interesting thing's going to be too, whether on the glove here, whether it dries or stays wet because it's on a glove. So who knows? It's very much of a muchness right now. And I would say too that if it's on the glove, we might be better with a mitten, because that would connect all the fingers. But we'll see. We will see. At the moment, all we have to do is just keep landing paint where we see it. It's tempting to think you're getting close as well, but actually with this portrait, there's going to be a lot of covering up, re-evaluating, re-angling to make sure we get it just to where we want it. This will be less like the Shackleton one we did, where it was just 45 minutes, bang, done, and more of a pause, re-evaluate, how close are we to the character? Pause, re-evaluate, how close are we to the character? So we'll constantly evaluate the success or failure of this portrait on its ability to capture 4 traits. Obviously the likeness, that's an expectation. We have to get the likeness of Christophe in this picture, 1 for 1. But the question comes in, can we get those 4 traits in there? Fierce being one. His friends say he's fierce in a good way. And so we want to capture fierce in a good way. What's my favorite part of it? Right now my favorite part would be the purples and the blues. I think they stand out. I think they absolutely stand out. And then going out from there, ooh, Naples yellow, especially down just above his right-hand collar on the this part through here, how it sort of loses form and turns into sort of abstract lumps. Perfect. Classic example of an area of the background that actually demands a bit of interest over and above the regular character, which the background doesn't always need to fall to the back. It can hold some presence. We're always so eager to make it something that just exists solely so the foreground can exist. The background's got so much more juice to give us than that. That's such an underutilization of a resource. Space on the canvas, square inches to be utilized and painted with. G'day guys, how are we doing?
Amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's great.
How far are you walking today?
I'm making him walk 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back.
10 minutes down, 10 minutes back.
Yeah, I'm not a very good walker. So.
20 minutes total? Are you going for a swim at the end?
Absolutely.
Oh, good, good, good. It's a beautiful day for it.
Yeah, that's lovely. Well done.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. I hope I haven't ruined it by the time you come back.
I like his eyes. His eyes look really penetrating.
Yeah? That's the goal. He's got a lovely set of eyes, this gentleman. That's what we're after.
Fantastic. Well
Oh,
done.
thank you very much, guys. Catch you later. Lovely couple. Ooh, hello. Birdie, yes, we are on the beach and we are painting in beachy colours actually. Naples yellow, baby blue, whites. It's the foam white of the sea. Sorry too, distracted there with a lovely couple. This is a commission. This is a commission. And this is an example of how we approach a portrait of an individual. So we get the key factors of an individual. We start off in the first layers, the first 2, capturing the likeness, and then we get 4 personality traits. In this case, we've got a couple at the moment. I want fierce. And once we get those personality traits instilled into the work, then we'll just dance between colour, shape, the 4 personality traits, and the likeness. And once we feel there's this fine line being cut between all of those things, it's a lot of moving parts, that's when we can say, right, this portrait's complete. And sometimes you miss, but at the moment, we're on the right track, and as long as we stay true to our feelings here, stay true to your feelings, not start painting what we think we see or what we want to see, but keep on capturing this face, this individual, this person. I always find it helps to remind myself over and over again that you're trying to capture someone's identity. It's not about beautiful paint. It's about a beautiful person. If you think about that, you stop judging every stroke you add and start thinking more about how can I capture more of this person? I'm not going to worry about this brushstroke looking perfect or that one looking perfect. The tools that I'm utilizing in order to make this person exist. Start thinking like that, and all of a sudden, you start to see more. I do want, I've been a bit greedy, but I do want a little bit of green. Do I? Ooh, that's a tough one. I've got some green coming up around these parts. It might be too much. Oh, come on. Every day we're on a field trip. Every day. Might just grab one slightly larger brush, actually. Slightly larger. Where are you hiding? Here we go. Beautiful. I'll peg this one into the ground here. Turquoise is an option. There's already a lot of turquoise dancing in with some teals around here. And the funny thing about turquoise, teals, magenta, and a few other colors is less can be more to make them pop more. Here we go. So put more of this. Does feel pretty unorthodox to be working on a glove though. It's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. Do. Here we go. Mixing up our own custom Naples yellow. Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. Big strokes around this collar. If we don't do big strokes around here, they won't carry that confidence. I need this portrait to have this allure of confidence to it. As if in the split second you saw him, he turned around and smiled at you, or gazed at you and just penetrated you with his eyes. You know, some people can do that. In this beautiful way, they can just not stare right through you, but stare into you. It's like a gaze that comes with wisdom. And wise is actually one of the other emotions, feelings that I'm after in this piece. I want wise. Okay. Here we are. Purple. Call me mellow yellow. Okay, manganese blue hue into a little bit of magenta. 1 and 2. Yeah, we got some good scenery here. Remember when we say fierce too, it's fierce in a kind way. It's not a, not that, like I was saying in an email today, not that there's actually a bad kind of fierce. I love all kinds of fierce, but in this case, we're after the kind that we all consider as an endearing characteristic. You know, a day like this with the amount of heat out too would work perfectly as a beach day. I need music, that's what I need. Some 80s pop. I think we did disco better in the 80s and the 90s. I wasn't really here for it. I was born in 1993, but looking back on the music, the innovations in music that happened between the 80s and 90s feels like what we were touching on as music was somehow more than what we get today. Somehow more. I don't know, I know we throw like 90s themed parties. I heard of a 2000s themed party, but I don't know. I feel like the 90s and 80s were iconic. Will we ever throw a 2000 themed party? What would you even do with it? I did bring sunscreen. We're all covered. Thank you though. Thank you for checking. Appreciate that. This is the sort of day that if we didn't have sunscreen, we would roast. Absolutely roast. See my face? The light's a little bit funny at the moment, so it will be hitting me in a bit of a weird way. But don't worry, as the sun goes down, as it always does, it'll slowly but surely change all the angles of light. So whatever you're seeing will deviate ever so gradually. Now, one other thing too I haven't said in a while, but it's really, really important with commissioned works, and this is as much for collectors as it is for artists. If you're wondering when a commission's finished, or if you got true value out of the artist from a commission, read the sort of subconscious, or listen to your instincts, or read the language of, do they want to part with the piece of artwork? If they seem like, and I'm not saying test them, but if they seem like they want to keep it, or if they've become attached to it, that's a great sign. And for artists, when you hit that moment, when you almost prefer to give them back the money and keep what you've made, now you've reached the moment in which the commission's finished, and not a moment sooner. You'd be like, but I need the money. Yeah, true. Let's say I gave you a car or a phone, something of, I don't know, material value, and then I said, all right, give it back and I'll give you the money. A part of you would think, no, I want to keep it. Now, art should be very similar. in that currently the artist has the art. By definition, they do when they make it. Now, if you're going to give that artwork to someone, especially for the artist, mentally, have a think about it. When you go to give it, do you want to give them their money back and keep it instead? And if the answer to that's yes, good. That means you've gone on a journey with that piece, you've connected with it, you like where it's at, you think it's beautiful, you want to keep it. Reach that point. That's where you're hunting to get to. And it cannot leave the studio, not a moment sooner. Because then when you see the work again as well, you know when you see an old friend that you haven't seen for a while? It sounds cheesy, but that's kind of like what it feels like. Just wait for that wind to die down there a little bit so I can see that face. It's been a while, haven't seen your face. Some form into there. Whew. It's a hot day and I love it. Yeah, so there's a little piece down here that was getting darker and darker, but we had never really picked up the right shade to hit it. Now we have, just to bring that mouth into a little bit more of the correct color. There's more to do around there though, more fun to be had. But this whole area through here, subtle changes of pastel tones. That'll be what gets us there. Contrast blended well together. Well, as long as you can have all the tones correct. The tones want to be right, but the hues want to be wild, crazy, all directions. This glove's working well. This glove is working very well. Now, let's see. Let's put a little bit of red through this lavender. Just a touch. Here we go. Perfecto. So like a lavender rose. That's what we're after at the moment. Do I get paid by the art piece or by the hour? That's a great question. Now, I think when you ask that question though, one of the things we try and do is think about it from the artist's perspective and from the collector's perspective. So let's say you charge by the hour. What happens when the project, for good reason say, goes over by 40 hours? Do you just pass that cost on and say to the collector, well, too bad, you took a chance on me to make a commission and now I've spent an additional 40 hours on it? Your problem? Or does the artist wear that? Well, the first scenario seems a bit unfair. So you could give an approximation on hours, but the question still comes up, what do you do when you go over it? And then you could do one where you don't tell the hours at all and you just say, I'll do the project. Well, what happens then when you make a project and you put it together, but you do it in 2 hours rather than 10 or 15 and you don't put love into it and you take the collector for a ride? What do you do then? So both situations have their fall marks. And you see how both these 4 marks land on the collector? A lot of the time as the artist, we make it all about us, and it's not. It's a connection, it's a relationship. It's about providing each person with confidence. Confidence to the artist that they can perform the job, and confidence to the collector, knowing that their inspiration and their dream can come into reality through this artist. So, going back to the crux of the question, what do? I give a total amount that includes all the labor and things like that. I quote pretty much exactly like a plumber or an electrician would, saying this is how much the project would cost. Now, if we deviate and we change the frame and things, yeah, maybe costs will change down the line, but I'm going to put in this much time, and I'm going to also, if I go overtime, that's my problem. You see, if you want to be an artist, just like a builder, if you quote a job for $300, $5,000, $10,000, you can't come back to the client and say, well, I mean, sometimes they do, but, and say, hey, it was harder than I thought. Costs have gone up. It's more of a struggle now, and that's your problem. No. That's a good learning exercise for you for next time. As an artist, you follow through on what you said. You follow through on that, you nail it, and give that client what they asked for. And if you learn to listen, you lost money, you worked too many hours, you this, you that, whatever. Great, great. People go to university and they go to art schools and they go to polytechnics and they spend tens of thousands of dollars on an education. Whatever it cost you when you went over budget with that commission, you got yourself an education for next time. And that doesn't mean you look at the next collector and say, you're going to pay, you know, so I can make up all this income, blah, 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 blah. No. You look at it and say, right, this is the fair price. And so when a collector asks you, how much does that piece of art cost? How much does it cost for a commission? You can stand there with that value and say, commission costs this much, knowing that you can't go below that. And there actually was a case. I was working on a landscape for a gentleman, a guy named John, great guy, back when I was working in Tauranga. And John wanted a landscape, but when we made it, I actually went well under the amount of hours I thought I'd need. And so I actually messaged John and said, John, we've finished way sooner than I thought. Hey, how you doing? We've finished much sooner than I thought. Let me return a portion of what I allocate labor to. So I think I'd budgeted for 12 hours on the piece of work. It actually came in as 4. And so I didn't just knock the whole job in half. Work out your costs, and if you're giving out commission prices, you should have your costs sorted already. Work out your framing costs, your delivery costs, your materials cost, and then after you've done all of that, your varnishing, your code, your certificate of authenticities, all that stuff, what's your remaining amount? Well, if you get that and divide that by your hours, that's your hourly rate. Now, I factored in 12 hours, so whatever was left for the hourly rate, I grabbed that, divide it by 12, times it by 4. Divide it by 12, times it by 8, that's the amount that I remove off the total, and that's what the client gets. But typically, as you do 10 commissions, 20 commissions, 30 commissions, you'll look at pictures, figure out what it is about the picture, know your own style, and get a very, very intimate connection with your style and the amount it actually costs to make your style. So you can give clients almost to the hour budgets. Now, when I say to the hour budgets, let's say you wake up. Let's say you wake up in the morning, you get your canvas out, you stand in front of it, and I don't know, you cry for 12 hours. That's creative process. Sometimes you fail. Now, if you cry for 8 hours and fail that day, is that your problem? Or does that get passed on to the client? It's creative process. That's your problem, in my opinion. You wear that. And so the hours you charge the client are specifically hours where paintbrush touches canvas. And I think that's fair. The temptation is to think all of it, travel, blah, blah, should get passed on. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. It's all on you. That's part of your whatever you want to call it. Took the pups out. The glove's actually working really well. Here's where it's at. It's drying slower because I can protect the paint in a little cup, so that's pretty cool. We were just yarning about how commissions work, John, or less about, I mean, a lot of the time I feel like whenever an artist is wondering about commissions, they ask, how much should I charge? Think less about how much you should charge and more about what's your philosophy towards commissions. Is it I want to get as much money as I can get, or is it the best place to put it? And this is going to sound, a lot of artists get angry about this to me, but the best place to put it, I think a commission's worth, is what's the minimum, the absolute minimum you'll take that job for. And if you won't take it for, and then any dollar less than that, and you say, look, so thank you that you've approached me, but I can't do this job. That's the mark that the commission's worth. And you'd be like, well, I'd take that job for $10. Cool, do it. I've taken commissions where I've actually paid for the frame, where it's actually been, the commission's been $0, and I paid for the frame and I paid for the shipping just because I wanted them to have it. And so the question was less, how much is the art worth? And it's more, what are you willing to take for that job? Because there's no point saying, I hate the psychology of running around telling every client, $5,000, $5,000, $7,000, hoping someone bites, you know? This is a predatory nature for artists, and it's the wrong way to go about it. Crying for that long was draining. Yeah, I'm not suggesting cry for that many hours, but I am suggesting when you start out, take the philosophy of someone like Jeff Koons, one of the greatest artists of all time, or greatest artists of today. Jeff Koons was doing a bunch of jobs at the very start of his career that he knowingly lost significant money on just to make the project happen, because he knew if he could just make his art, people would see, in his case, how great he was. Now, if you're an artist, getting the opportunity to make your art, if you've got something special, is all you'll need. But I'd go back to that. What's the absolute minimum? And if you've got 30 collectors all coming at you, all asking you for artwork, and you're struggling to keep up, and you're looking after a family, or you've got loved ones, or you've got mortgage payments, all this sort of stuff, maybe your rate goes up a little bit. Maybe because you've got 30 people asking for it, you can get a little more selective. But this is down the line, And especially when you're first offering people commissions, don't get excited and throw out a big number. I found immense confidence when I was first doing commissions, because I hated the idea when I felt imposter syndrome on making art. This is back when I was in my 20s. I'd actually make invoices for them when I'd break down all the cost. I'd break down the supply and demand, but don't get too excited about that. I mean in a sense, but not in its entirety. But I'd break down the invoice. I'd have the shipping cost, the framing cost, the canvas cost. I'd even have the paint cost and the varnish and isolation coat costs and the brushes and things like that. So everything was included. Cheers, Pink. It is a great water bottle. Everything was included in the quote. And I felt confidence on that because when I gave a client that, they could know that, okay, all beans counted. He plans on working for 4 hours on this at $30 an hour, say, and then everything else is covering costs. Now, if you were taking a punt on a new artist to say, I'm going to buy a piece of artwork off this artist that no one else has heard about because I like him. If that's the case, then giving them that sort of an invoice provides them with huge confidence. Sensible, in fact. But that's enough on that. That's if we want to talk more about that sort of jazz, I should just do a quick video on it so I can stop yarning about it all the time. Because it's not where art needs to get down to. Art at its crux is expressing and enjoying yourself. And yes, there is a business element to art, but the business element isn't something you keep on trying to extrapolate, take from. The business element in art is something you tick off. You tick that box and you kick it to the side. You have to tick it. You have to pay your taxes. You have to do your invoices. You have to work out your business, but then kick it to the side and focus on the art. It doesn't mean you only get to focus on the art, but it means everything that tries to take away from the art is a distraction. It's about art, it's about making people happy, it's about connections, it's about love. And when you lose sight of that, you need to find a way to circle back to it, because when you start chasing off on a business model, good luck with your inspiration. Your inspiration's there because there's a child inside you that felt for a brief moment that through some silly, crazy pictures you were making, you'd be able to connect with other people who hadn't lost their inner child, who also felt love and felt these emotions that you both could experience. And so in different places in the world, you could both look at an image that was created by a human and both get excited about it for the same reasons. That's an insane thought, but the very fact that we could possibly entertain for a single moment that could be true means it was absolutely worth pursuing. So worth pursuing, in fact, that Van Gogh locked himself in a room and painted for 10 straight years. I think it was like a picture every 2 days because he believed in that so much. Didn't turn out well for him, but he was right. So that's why Van Gogh is such a tragedy. Just because you're right doesn't mean you don't get hurt. I can hear that tide coming closer. I can hear the tide coming closer. Okay, here's something cool, guys. Check this out. Here's the color of the glove underneath. Voila. But the cool thing about this is I take the glove off inside out and all the paint's in there. So I don't need to worry about paint going everywhere in my set. So gloves have legs. Except your hand gets a little bit sweaty. That's the one catch there. JFK. That's why you need someone representing you so you can focus on art. I disagree. If you don't, yes, you can have someone represent you. I prefer to represent myself. And if I met the right person who had the same vision as me, I would change my mind. But I don't believe having someone represent you because you want to focus on your art. What, you mean you're not going to talk to clients about commissions? See and hear their feelings, figure out who they are? You're just going to wait till the commission rolls in or the person just buys your art, but you're never going to connect with who they are, their face, their aspirations, their dreams? Yuck, yuck. You turned it like you're just a middleman in some kind of business. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. If you're creating who you are and you're talking about representation, hey there, how you doing? It's a portrait. It's a lovely gentleman. No. It's a portrait of a gentleman, but he's fierce. He's a fierce gentleman. Fierce, wise, sassy, and unconventional. Those are the 4 things he is. Yeah. And so we're trying to get the fierce elements in there with the sort of, because his eyes are very intense going forward.
Really good, I can see.
But
definitely, you've really captured him.
But we have to do it, the colours need to be quite fun and bubbly, otherwise the fierce element gets lost in this intensity in the eyes. You get angry fierce. We don't want angry fierce, we want loving, caring, relaxed fierce. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're having some real fun around these parts. I need to get down in here and get a few more tones in these darker areas. He's in a tuxedo suit piece.
He's got his nose really good.
You love the nose?
You can see his nose, that right down here.
Yeah.
He's got a very defined
strong features on him.
He
Strong
has,
features.
Yeah, yeah. Nice looking man, actually.
Anyway,
Wow. And his eyes, you've got his eyes well as well. Good as well.
if you come right up close, it just turns into wild paint. The idea behind it, it'll just completely distort. And the reason behind that is if you were here having a cup of tea beside him, you know when there's a giant portrait beside you, it's too much? Well, with this here, if you stand right beside it with a cup of tea, it actually is just wild paint, so you can relax. But then from across the room or down a hallway, the whole picture gets context.
That's what makes an incredible painter, though, because you look at the old the pictures that Constable did and the classics.
Yes.
And you know, you see all these amazing fields of flowers, and also I can't think of
Monet.
Monet.
Yes,
Monet,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And you think, how the heck did they do that? Because they've got to come relatively close to do
Mm.
it, and then they stand back, and it takes on its form.
And
I
there it
think
is.
This is
Yeah.
just amazing how you can be so near to something.
Yeah.
And it really does distort it, doesn't it, when you're near to it, compared to when you stand back.
I like it. It's like a dance of chaos and control. I like that dance.
It's amazing.
Sometimes you'll make artwork and you'll look at it and you'll think, there's too much control here. There's too much craft and not enough art. And sometimes you'll look at it and think there's way too much chaos and not enough control. So it's trying to get that 50-50.
The balance, yeah.
I typically find as a soft rule,
Yeah.
if you stand 10 feet back, and you look at it and it's half paint, half chaos, you've nailed it.
Yeah.
And up close, full chaos, far away, full control, 10 feet, half and half,
Okay.
you're on the money.
Yeah. I think I understand what you're saying, actually.
So it's a fine line to walk. Yeah.
You captured it really well, actually.
Well, thank you very much. The next step from now, he won't change an awful lot from here on out. The next steps now is to keep putting transparent layers over the top. So although it's wild and fun, we need that depth, and you get depth from transparent layers one after the other. See, Monet didn't get that advantage because they didn't have all the same chemicals when Monet was painting. We've got fancy chemicals now that can change the opacity of the paint just like that. So,
Cheesy now.
yeah, I'm like Monet with cheat codes.
Monet. Who are the other ones?
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. Yeah.
Mm.
I have seen them actually at Auckland
Yeah.
Museum over the years when they've been fabulous.
Michelangelo, Da Vinci, you've got a whole bunch of old school fellas.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of them.
Geniuses, really.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
They're actually referring to Da Vinci now as an inventor rather than a painter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say he's spent more time creating inventions than he did making paintings, and they want to acknowledge that. So I hear he's been called an inventor first and foremost now. I always knew him as a painter.
Yeah, me too.
There we go.
Yeah. Don't go
Well, anyway.
Don't go cutting off your ear, will you?
No, I need those. Otherwise,
Don't ruin your shirt either.
I've got to have that ear. Otherwise, my partner won't be able to tell me off properly.
You know, and look at him from there is, oh my God, you've caught us, you've caught him really well. Even the way his eyes are looking.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
I can't even draw a straight line. So it's
Hey.
very talented.
neither could Pollock.
Really? Oh, it's not for me.
He's one of the most famous artists of all time. A straight line's overrated. No one needs a straight line. I know what you're trying to say.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your walk.
Too.
Now, where's it going? This one here. Sorry, team. I bailed on the there for a little bit. Flippity flop. Yes, I did. This is a New Zealand way to fix a flip flop. I think it's this one. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Okay, I did have it fixed. It had a little bread lock on it, which is now gone. Long story short, flip-flops need replacing, sorry guys. No messy set. No, it's not really a messy set. It's quite a controlled one. When we started painting this, we had a very messy set. So we're more of a, adding colour in, but more of a relaxed, controlled, detailed session. And cheers, AJ. AG, you're a champion. It's a portrait. I'm not following why it's separate. She's sweet in a pair of shorts like Seb's. Op shop, you can get some for $4 if you keep your eyes open. Does he have a girlfriend? Lauren, I do. I've even got a baby on the way, and the baby is due in May. So that's exciting. And that's why I've been working on creating a paint which is completely chemical free, so that when me and a toddler are painting, the toddler won't be exposed to all the chemicals that us artists are. It's a good way to keep them safe. And JS, it has been ages. I was literally this session talking about our painting together. Our landscape with the swan and the castle and the clouds and the grass. In fact, I missed that piece. Can you do me a favor? Can you send me a picture of it? Would that be okay? That's one of the works that didn't get scanned, professionally photographed, and I think about it a lot, because that's one that I talk about artworks taking 40 hours, 20 hours, 15 hours, 5 hours, depending on how correct you can put down the brush strokes, and every brush stroke's like rolling dice. And this particular work of this landscape, every single brush stroke is just in the exact right place. It's 400, maybe 600 brush strokes, all exactly where they belong. And I couldn't believe it. I looked at the work, I'm like, we're done. I can't improve this piece of art. And so that was pretty special. But usually, like even in this piece here, there'll be little pockets where we cover up other brush strokes and we progress things and build out. Now there's nothing wrong with that. It'll still look as beautiful as, say, the landscape I'm talking about here is. But the difference is, it takes more time. We have to keep working to try and get that perfect outcome we're after. That's what's happening here. Sorry, coming on down here. Greetings from Peru. And Steve, welcome to the subscription team, you absolute champion. I hope you got my email this morning, Steve. And we'll continue that conversation. I'm excited. Your birthday's May 6th. Well, that's around about when my baby's due, so that's pretty exciting. You may draw a portrait of a baby when it... That's interesting you say that, Nick, because first off, my baby's on the way in a couple of months, and the second off is I've just been talking with a collector, one of my... I've been talking with one of my friends about doing a commission of a 1-week-old baby. So this is quite exciting because we haven't done a baby since 2022. So it's been 2 years since we've done any baby portraits. I've been doing a bunch of seniors and aged faces, and now we're going to get back down into these more youthful, in this case, a baby's face, which is going to be really exciting to see, hey guys, how we tackle it. It'll be pretty unique. Let me look see down here. Cheers, AJ. I just got my IG back. I'm going to message you about a new commission. I'm excited. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't know what to expect. I hope it's another landscape because you've got some great shots, but let's find out. You've got me on Instagram anyway, so we'll talk soon. And Farrah Lee, I'm almost down to the bottom of these comments. The shirt isn't actually lilac. This shirt was like a pale baby blue color. But what happened was I put it in the wash with Shelby's clothes and she had a red dress in there, and now it's lilac, which I actually prefer, so wasn't intentional. Fantastic, Steve, that is good. And I can do that for sure. Also, I got my IG back, message you, oh yeah, perfect, perfect. All right, sorry guys, I ended up in a conversation there for about 5 minutes and then I got way too behind on the comments and then I didn't want to make sure I missed anything, so you were here for it anyway, so you know what I'm talking about. But now the next thing to do is some thin coats. Thin coats, saturated color through here, darken it up but add depth. So I was saying to the lady there, it's less about changing the face now. The face's structure, the kindness, the fierceness, the wisdom, the wisdom, kindness, relaxed nature, it's all there. All the things we want are there. But one thing it lacks, is this part through here, It's beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely yellow. It's popping. But I want depth. I want you to be able to look at it and to keep getting Easter eggs. See, there's only so many years or so many months or decades you can look at a swipe of paint over a surface. Now, I do agree, if it's gestural and expressive, you're always going to get something out of it. Yeah, probably cool, but I want multiple layers of different opacities, of different transparencies, crisscrossing over each other, creating the picture. So as years go by, you continue to find these little Easter eggs in these paintings, these new moments, compositional elements and sways and strokes and styles. That's what gives a painting value over a long period of time. Not just that, oh, it looks pretty, it's pretty colors. Where's the depth? It's like a relationship that looks great on Instagram. Look at them, they're smiling, they must be happy. That's a pretty picture. Now, where's the depth? So just like that relationship needs to have communication, love, experience, give and take, whatever you want to put into a relationship, so too does a painting need to have that depth built into it. And at the moment, we have surface level, beautiful, but surface level. Let's add depth. Someone sitting at home there is like watching, and they're like, so he's going to add more paint. That's all he said, right? He's adding more paint. Yeah, yes, that's all I'm doing. I'm adding more paint. Like, that's not even me being sarcastic about what's possibly going to happen. That's what I mean. But the difference here is if you look at my glove, you see how there's a little bit of blue there, but a whole lot of white? That white's actually transparent gel. So wherever the white goes, won't actually be white. The white will disappear and leave behind the blue. So when you see this going on in almost like a baby blue fashion, trust me when I say that'll dry far, far darker. And we talked about this originally on the work Duck Dive, and then we talked about it a lot on Cassie's Joy. Been a bunch of works we've done this on. It is the grade A best way to build depth into a picture. How will you build depth into it? Make it deep. There we go. Beautiful. Cheers, Steve. Shorts matching the painting? Yeah. Bit of an orange flare to it. Pretty exciting. Now bear in mind too, team, we do have the tide coming in, so if a giant wave comes up and hits my feet, don't worry. It'll just wreck my iPad and the bottom of the easel. It won't actually affect the painting. It'll take a tidal wave to hit the painting, obviously. There we go. Give me depth, baby. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Baby. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. The colour palette is a bit of fun. Colour palette is a bit of fun. So the individual in this painting, hold on one second. Oh, sorry, I lose you there for a second, team. You should be all right there. Christopher Luxton, Prime Minister of New Zealand, is actually bald. And this gentleman here, Christophe, has a fantastic head of hair. So the gentleman's called Christophe. And although we're trying to capture Christophe's likeness, we're after 4 personality traits that Christophe has as well. Those personality traits, we're after unconventional, we're after fierce, we're after wise. G'day guys, how we doing? Enjoying your walk on the beach? That's good. That's good. Oh, I've got plenty of sunscreen, but it's not a bad shout. I could trade you a hat for a painting.
So who is he?
His name's Christophe, and we're capturing his portrait. So Christophe, there's a couple of things he wanted to get. We wanted to get his likeness first off, just a little bit of that likeness, and then we wanted to capture 4 personality traits of Christophe. So fierce, we want to get fierce, and you get that from those intense eyes with the contrast. If you get that contrast, but in bright colours, that's the key. Bright, fun colours for the contrast, you get fierce. And then we wanted to get a little bit of wisdom, And there's a couple of ways we're getting that, but the most important way hasn't been done yet. We want to use depth for that. A bunch of transparent coats so you can look through it and see all sorts of different stuff. You see, with wisdom comes time. So we want to get that wisdom through all these different palettes of colours. And then fierce, wisdom, unorthodox. Well, this whole thing's unorthodox, isn't it? And then unconventional and unorthodox in the same mouthful. Hello there, how you doing?
Yeah, I paint as well, but
Yeah? We're building up a bit of... What's that, sorry?
Live here?
I live here, yeah. I like Auckland. You're a fan?
Yeah, we just
Oh, perfect.
yeah.
Oh, well, you can come back tomorrow and see if I've ruined it or not.
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow too.
I'll probably pop around.
Yeah.
I'll pop around all over the show.
Okay.
Just try and pick where the sun looks nice, where the tide's out, where the birds don't come and walk all through my paint and flap on the artwork, you know, wherever you can find.
This is one of the nicest spots in New Zealand.
It was actually just voted best city beach.
Oh, really?
Best city beach in New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
Oh, aren't we lucky?
yeah. Property prices just went up 30%, they say, overnight when the article came out.
Oh, that's good.
No, I'm
Even better. Keep talking, you're going well.
Hello there, how you doing? That's good. Fun times to be down at the beach, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Are you out for a walk, eh?
Yes, obviously.
How far are you going?
I'm going 15 minutes that way, well 20 minutes that way and 20 minutes back, and then come down for a swim.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
And how far off the swim are you?
By the time I get back, get changed,
Yeah.
I'll be down here by...
All right.
Suddenly got breezy. Lovely.
It is a breezy day.